Hello friend, so glad you're here tonight. Get comfortable, pull the covers up and let the day loosen its grip. There's nowhere else you need to be. Before we begin, a small request. Most of the people listening tonight aren't subscribed. If this channel has ever helped you drift off, take a moment to subscribe and tap the like button on tonight's video. Both are free, they take 2 seconds and they help this channel more than you'd think. And you can always change your mind later. And if you feel like it, leave a comment telling me where in the world you're listening from and what time it is where you are. I love reading them. In the ancient Greek city of Assos, a young man named Cleanthes began his days by carrying water to homes throughout the town. But there was something extraordinary about this water carrier. His nickname was the Well Water Collector, a title that hinted at an uncommon dedication to his work. Every morning, Cleanthes would wake before the sun rose and start his laborious rounds, ensuring each household had enough water for the day. But as the days turned into months, a change began to take place within Cleanthes. His work was important, but his mind yearned for something more, a deeper understanding of the world. One day, as he carried his heavy buckets through the streets, he heard whispers of a philosopher named Zeno from the city of Citium, who was said to be teaching in Athens. The news ignited a spark within him, an unquenchable desire to learn from this wise teacher. With barely any money to his name, just 4 drachmas in his pocket, Cleanthes set out on a journey that would forever change the course of his life. One more thing before we begin. I'm also a co-founder of a sleep app built to be the most affordable one out there. No ads, ever. Just sounds and stories made to help you sleep. It may not be released yet as this video goes up, but if you're watching a little later, it might be out by now. Just search for it, it should be easy to find. It works on iPhone, Android, and everything in between. Downloading it is the best way to support this channel. In the year 30 VTE, a baby boy was born in the small town of Assos, nestled in the Troad region of Asia Minor. This was no ordinary birth. This child would grow up to shape Stoic philosophy into a practical guide for living. Assos was known for its rugged beauty and challenging terrain. The child's early life would reflect these surroundings, marked by endurance, self-discipline, and resilience. The boy would grow up to be Cleanthes, a name that would become synonymous with Stoic philosophy. The path was not easy, and Cleanthes faced many obstacles along the way. But with each challenge, he honed his skills in self-discipline and moral improvement, core tenets of Stoicism. Despite his humble origins and the adversity he faced, Cleanthes' character would be admired for embodying Stoic ideals. His early life set the stage for his rise to prominence and his future contributions to Stoicism. And so began the life of a philosopher who would shape the principles of Stoicism into a practical guide for living. Before Cleanthes became one of the most revered figures in Stoic philosophy, he was a simple water carrier living in the small town of Lysimachia in Assos. His hands, calloused from the rough handle of his bucket, were a testament to his tireless labour. Despite the simplicity of his job, there was something remarkable about Cleanthes, a spark within him that yearned for more. At night, after his day's work was done and the town was bathed in the soft glow of twilight, he would set aside his buckets and turn to his true passion, philosophy. He was drawn to the teachings of Zeno of Citium, a man known for his wisdom and ability to distill complex ideas into practical advice. Cleanthes spent countless nights poring over texts under the dim light of a flickering candle, determined to absorb every word. But his dedication did not go unnoticed. News spread throughout Lysimachia that there was a man who worked diligently during the day and spent his nights in quiet contemplation. One evening, as Cleanthes sat beneath the starlit sky with an open scroll of Zeno's teachings, he heard footsteps approaching. A court official stood before him, bearing a summons to appear in front of the local magistrate. Cleanthes was puzzled but intrigued. He followed the official to the courthouse, his mind racing with questions. What could this be about? Why were they interested in a humble water carrier? When he arrived at the court, Cleanthes was ushered into the presence of the magistrate. The official presented him with a challenge: explain how his nightly studies could benefit the community. Despite his humble origins, Cleanthes possessed an insatiable curiosity for philosophy. He spent nights studying under the moonlight, dreaming of a life dedicated to wisdom and virtue. He listened to Zeno for 19 years, absorbing every word like a sponge. His industry and dedication caught the attention of those around him, including the court in Athens. This act of support and recognition by Zeno solidified Cleanthes' position in the Stoic school. When Zeno passed away in 263 BCE, it was no surprise that Cleanthes succeeded him as the second head of the Stoic school. Under his leadership, the Stoic school in Athens flourished. Cleanthes brought a practicality to philosophy that resonated with many. He taught not just abstract ideas, but how to apply them to daily life. He transformed the lives of those who followed his teachings on virtue, control, and acceptance, lessons that would echo through the centuries. As you continue to explore the life of Cleanthes, you will see how his rise to prominence not only shaped Stoic philosophy, but also left an indelible mark on the world. Imagine a philosophy so practical and profound that it transforms the lives of those who follow its guidance for thousands of years. This is not a tale of abstract ideas, but of real people whose actions reshape the world. And at the heart of this story lies one man, Cleanthes. Before we meet him, let us ask, what was so extraordinary about his teachings on virtue that they have echoed through history? Throughout his life, Cleanthes penned at least 50 works, passing on the wisdom he had acquired. Yet these were not mere innovations, they drew heavily from the teachings of Zeno and other Stoic philosophers. Among his most influential writings is the Hymn to Zeus, penned by Epictetus, another key figure in Stoicism. This hymn encapsulates the essence of Cleanthes' teachings on virtue, accepting our place in the universe and living in accordance with nature's laws. Imagine a world where every action is guided by reason, where one's character is forged through endurance and resilience. This was the vision Cleanthes laid out in his works, a vision that shaped not only philosophy, but also the daily lives of countless individuals. For Cleanthes, virtue was more than just an abstract concept, it was a practical guide for living. His teachings emphasized the importance of self-control and acceptance, principles that resonate even today. His contributions transformed the lives of those who followed his philosophical guidance, offering a roadmap to navigate life's complexities with wisdom and grace. Through his writings and teachings, Cleanthes left an indelible mark on the world of philosophy. So, if you ever find yourself in a moment of uncertainty or turmoil, remember the wisdom of Cleanthes. His teachings remind us that virtue is not merely about grand gestures, but about the small, daily choices we make. And in those quiet moments, perhaps you too will discover the enduring power of his guidance on virtue. When the founder of Stoicism, Zeno, died in 263 BCE, a void was left in Athens that could not be filled by just anyone. Zeno's teachings on practical philosophy had drawn attention from across the Mediterranean. Attracted by the teachings of Zeno, he began attending his lectures and eventually became one of Zeno's most devoted disciples. Zeno recognized his potential, and Cleanthes spent nearly 2 decades under Zeno's tutelage. Stoicism emphasizes 3 main doctrines: physics, logic, and ethics. His legacy continues to influence modern-day Stoics who seek practical wisdom for navigating a changing world. In fact, Stoicism's popularity endures despite the rise of competing philosophies like Epicureanism. This is a testament to the enduring value of Cleanthes' contributions. His teachings on living according to nature have become cornerstones of Stoic philosophy. As we reflect on the life of Cleanthes, it's clear that his legacy shaped Stoicism into a practical guide for living. Cleanthes' strength of character, high moral qualities, patience, and adherence to his beliefs have made him a symbol of Stoic ideals. His influence can still be felt in the lives of those who practice virtue, control, and acceptance today. As we explore the life of Cleanthes, it becomes clear that his teachings were not just academic exercises, but lived experiences. The patience, hard-working nature, loyalty, and perseverance he embodied continue to guide countless individuals today. The Hellenistic period began with a bang and ended in chaos. It was an era when the world's greatest minds grappled with fundamental questions about life, virtue, and control. Among them was Cleanthes, a man whose humble beginnings belied his extraordinary impact on philosophy. This idea has carried through the centuries, influencing modern Stoicism and our understanding of what truly matters in life. Today, we still grapple with the same questions Cleanthes posed so long ago. Cleanthes' teachings are a testament to the power of simplicity and practicality in philosophy. His life, marked by humble beginnings and extraordinary impact, serves as a reminder that greatness can emerge from even the most modest origins. So, let's take a moment to consider how Cleanthes' ancient wisdom continues to shape our understanding of virtue, control, and acceptance in today's world. And perhaps, by the end of tonight, you'll see that Cleanthes' life and philosophy hold more relevance to our own lives than we might have initially thought. Because in the end, what makes a life truly remarkable is not its grandeur, but its impact. And Cleanthes' impact on philosophy and modern Stoicism is undeniable. One of Cleanthes' most notable students was Chrysippus, who would go on to become a prominent Stoic thinker and eventually succeed Cleanthes as the third leader of the Stoic school. Through his teachings, Cleanthes taught Chrysippus and others how to live in accordance with nature and accept the things they could not control. The practical wisdom of Cleanthes' teachings continues to resonate today, providing a roadmap for navigating life's challenges with virtue and acceptance. His life story serves as a reminder that true greatness often lies not in wealth or power, but in the transformative impact one can have on others through dedication and wisdom. As we delve deeper into Cleanthes' teachings, we find a wealth of practical advice that can guide us through the complexities of modern life. By understanding his principles of virtue, control, and acceptance, we too can transform our lives into a practical guide for living well in an ever-changing world. The name Stoicism comes from a humble porch in ancient Athens called the Stoa Poikile. Zeno's teachings drew students from all walks of life, including a young man named Cleanthes, who would one day lead this school. But what made Cleanthes truly exceptional was his dedication. He spent years studying philosophy under Zeno and later Chrysippus. This unassuming porch became the birthplace of a philosophy that would shape lives for centuries. And like the Stoa Poikile itself, Cleanthes' philosophy became a place of refuge for those seeking guidance in life. The use of picture archiving and communication systems, PACS in radiology, is growing rapidly, transforming how we diagnose diseases. Cleanthes' teachings on control and acceptance continue to guide many through life's challenges, much like the digital images guiding modern diagnoses. As we reflect on Cleanthes' enduring impact, we see that his simple yet profound teachings have stood the test of time. Think about it. You know the names of famous philosophers like Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. But Cleanthes? He lived in the same era as these great thinkers, yet his teachings are often overshadowed. However, his contributions have left an indelible mark on modern culture. For instance, Cleanthes' hymn to Zeus is one of the few complete texts from his writings that has survived to this day. His concept of accepting what you cannot control is particularly relevant today, where we often grapple with uncertainty and change. His teachings remind us that, while we may not have control over many aspects of life, we can always choose how we respond. And perhaps, just perhaps, you'll find that his words resonate with you as much today as they did in ancient times. Zeno declined an offer of money on Cleanthes' behalf, recognizing the young man's commitment and potential. The relationship between Cleanthes and Chrysippus was instrumental in shaping the future of Stoicism, as Chrysippus would carry on the teachings and principles that Cleanthes had instilled in him. Cleanthes believed that emotions were natural, but should be kept in check to avoid excessive reactions. He taught that one should strive for a calm and steady state of mind, neither overwhelmed by emotions nor numb to them. He taught that we should cultivate the habit of pausing before reacting to strong emotions, giving ourselves time to think and act rationally. Cleanthes' teachings on emotional control were not about suppressing emotions, but rather about understanding and guiding them in a way that serves our well-being. His methods for managing emotions included mindfulness practices and reflective exercises that helped his followers develop emotional intelligence. By incorporating these teachings into their daily lives, the Stoics were able to navigate the challenges of life with greater resilience and composure. And now, as we continue our journey through the teachings of Stoicism, let us explore how these principles can be applied in our own lives. Cleanthes, the second leader of the Stoic school, had a profound impact on how we understand true happiness and well-being. His views on Eudaimonia, or true happiness, were revolutionary for their time. Before his teachings, many philosophers saw happiness as mere pleasure and entertainment. But Cleanthes envisioned something far deeper and more enduring. Cleanthes believed that true happiness, or eudaimonia, comes from living in accordance with nature and one's virtues. He taught that the key to a fulfilling life is not found in external pleasures, but rather in cultivating inner strength and wisdom. He argued that by accepting our circumstances and embracing the challenges life presents, we can achieve a state of tranquility and contentment. This philosophy resonated with many, transforming their lives and shaping how they viewed happiness and well-being. As we delve deeper into the teachings of Cleanthes, we begin to understand how his views on eudaimonia can guide us towards a more fulfilling and meaningful life. Through his emphasis on living in accordance with nature and one's virtues, Cleanthes offered a path to true happiness that has resonated for centuries. By embracing the challenges life presents and cultivating inner strength, we too can aspire to this state of tranquility and contentment. The Hymn to Zeus. This is no ordinary poem. It's a profound work that encapsulates the core of Stoic philosophy and has survived as one of Cleanthes' few remaining writings. Think about it, a poem from over 2,000 years ago that continues to resonate with those seeking guidance on how to live their lives. Imagine hearing these words recited by the philosopher himself. I praise you, O Zeus, for you have given me the means of self-reliance and independence. You alone are responsible for my ability to govern myself. This wasn't a mere expression of devotion, but a statement of his commitment to Stoic principles. In these lines, Cleanthes conveys the essence of Stoic philosophy, the pursuit of virtue and self-control. He believed that by living in accordance with nature and accepting what cannot be changed, one can achieve a life of tranquility. By using literature to convey his teachings, Cleanthes made complex ideas accessible to anyone who read his work. Cleanthes' perspective on fate and destiny is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. He taught that one should view fate not as something to fear or resist, but rather as an opportunity to cultivate inner strength and wisdom. He believed in accepting the things we cannot change and focusing our efforts on the things within our control. This principle is famously encapsulated in his words, God himself cannot snatch us away from fate, but from all other things he can deliver us. Cleanthes' teachings encouraged his followers to find peace and contentment by aligning their actions with the natural flow of life. He taught that understanding and accepting our fate allows us to live more virtuously and with greater control over our lives. It was through this humble work that he first encountered the teachings of Zeno of Citium. As he studied under Zeno, Cleanthes began to develop his own ideas about the importance of friendship in living a virtuous life. He taught that true friendship was not merely about companionship, but about mutual support and growth in virtue. He believed that friends helped each other navigate the challenges of life and maintain their moral integrity. Cleanthes' teachings on friendship became a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, influencing generations of thinkers. Cleanthes set out to bridge this gap by focusing on one key aspect of Stoicism: practical wisdom. He believed that true wisdom wasn't just about intellectual understanding, but also about applying that knowledge in everyday situations. He began teaching his students to approach each decision with a clear mind and a calm heart. He urged them to consider the long-term consequences of their actions and to act in accordance with nature's laws. But Cleanthes didn't stop at abstract advice. He demonstrated these principles through his own life. But Cleanthes' greatest contribution was his ability to translate complex philosophical concepts into practical advice that could be used by anyone, regardless of their background or circumstances. This emphasis on real-world application would become a cornerstone of Stoicism and is evident in modern works like The Daily Stoic. At the dawn of his career, Cleanthes was a water carrier in Athens, a life that embodied the essence of Stoic resilience. He worked tirelessly, carrying water through the streets. His dedication was unmatched, but the life he lived was one of hardship and adversity. It is from this life that Cleanthes shaped the philosophy of Stoicism into a practical guide for living. A guide that teaches us to endure hardships with virtue, control, and acceptance. Tonight, we explore how Cleanthes taught resilience as a key component of Stoic philosophy. His days were filled with back-breaking labour, yet his nights echoed with the teachings of Zeno of Citium, a philosopher whose wisdom resonated deeply within him. It was not an easy path he chose. It was one that demanded endurance, self-discipline, and resilience in the face of adversity. News of his nocturnal studies reached the court, and he was summoned before the judges. His quiet life was about to be thrust into the public eye, and his commitment to learning would soon face its ultimate test. The judges were astonished by the diligence and humility of this young water carrier. They offered him money, but Cleanthes declined, insisting that his dedication was not for reward, but for the sake of knowledge itself. His emphasis on inner peace and equanimity was revolutionary. In a world of constant change and unpredictability, Cleanthes taught that maintaining balance amidst life's challenges was the key to true happiness. The concept of Apatheia, the absence of passion or emotion, was not about suppressing feelings, but about cultivating a calm and steady mind that could face any situation with composure. Cleanthes saw personal virtue as more than just moral goodness. It was a tangible reflection of the divine order in the universe. By acting in accordance with Logos, he believed we align ourselves with the very fabric of existence. In his writings, he compared the human mind to the stars in the night sky, both reflecting the light of an unseen source. But Cleanthes did not just preach these ideals, he lived them. When faced with adversity or injustice, his response was never rage, but patient endurance. He saw each challenge as an opportunity to align himself more closely with Logos, turning hardship into a path towards virtue. Let us consider the quiet strength of his actions and the profound wisdom of his teachings as we explore further into the night. This chapter has come to an end, but our journey continues. In the next segment, we will delve deeper into the life of Cleanthes and the impact he had on Stoic philosophy. Stay with us as we unravel more of his fascinating story. For Cleanthes, nature was not merely an environment to be exploited or endured, but a sacred force that humans must live in harmony with. Cleanthes taught that nature is not something to be feared or avoided, but rather a wise teacher from which we can learn the principles of balance and harmony. He believed in living simply, consuming only what was necessary, and respecting the natural world as if it were a living entity with its own rights. This philosophy emphasized that humans should not strive to dominate nature, but rather coexist peacefully, recognizing our role as part of the broader cosmic whole. Cleanthes' teachings on living in harmony with nature promoted a balanced and harmonious life, advocating for practices such as fasting and self-denial to align oneself with the rhythms of the natural world. By understanding our place in the universe and respecting nature's laws, Cleanthes believed that humans could achieve a state of true tranquility and inner peace. Cleanthes' dedication to his moral obligations started with his commitment to himself. He believed in the power of self-discipline and the importance of developing one's character. He taught that fulfilling your duties begins with taking care of your own well-being, both physically and mentally. This personal responsibility was the foundation for his teachings on virtue. Cleanthes also emphasized the importance of family in one's life. He believed that family bonds should be nurtured and protected just as much as one would care for themselves. He taught that loyalty to your family is a crucial part of living virtuously. This includes not only blood relatives, but also the community and society in which you live. Cleanthes extended this principle further, teaching that duty extends beyond personal relationships and into the larger societal context. He believed in being a responsible citizen, contributing positively to your community, and upholding the values that hold society together. In practical terms, Cleanthes' philosophy guided individuals to be honest in their dealings, fair in their judgments, and supportive of those around them. Before we delve deeper into how Cleanthes' philosophy shaped Stoicism, let's take a moment to appreciate the calm and measured voice of ancient wisdom that guides us today. As we continue to explore Cleanthes' life and his impact on philosophy, remember that his teachings were not just about abstract ideas, but about practical ways to live a virtuous life. By understanding his emphasis on duty and responsibility, we can see how Cleanthes' philosophy continues to guide us in our own lives today. But how did this humble man rise to such prominence? It was not through grand lectures or public displays, but through quiet dedication and practical exercises that shaped the lives of those who followed him. One of the most powerful exercises he used was called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. This practice involved imagining that all the bad things in life could happen to you. Imagine living without fear, because every misfortune has already been envisioned and accepted. This was not just a mental exercise, it was a way of life for Cleanthes and his followers. Cleanthes also taught the view from a distance. This involved looking at life's challenges as if they were happening to someone else. By removing personal attachment, one could see problems more clearly and with less emotional bias. Another practice was negative visualization. This involved imagining the loss of everything one holds dear: health, wealth, loved ones. By confronting these possibilities, one could truly appreciate what they had in the present. These exercises may seem harsh, but they were meant to cultivate inner strength and resilience. They were not just philosophical concepts, they were practical tools for living a stoic life. Cleanthes believed in the indifference of wealth, a radical notion that went against the grain of his time and place. In a world where riches were often seen as a symbol of status and power, Cleanthes taught that material possessions held no intrinsic value. To illustrate this, consider the story of his early years in Athens. This self-discipline and hard work impressed the court so much that they offered him money. Yet, Cleanthes declined the offer, showing that he valued his independence and philosophical pursuits over material wealth. This episode is a testament to his belief that true worth lies not in material possessions, but in virtue and self-control. In essence, Cleanthes promoted a philosophical perspective over materialism, teaching that true value comes from within. This transformation shows that true wealth is not measured by material possessions, but by the qualities of character and spirit. As we uncover more about Cleanthes' beliefs and teachings, the true value of his philosophy becomes clear. In another example from Cleanthes' teachings, he emphasizes the importance of maintaining one's integrity in the face of adversity. He advises that even when faced with temptations or obstacles, one must remain steadfast in their principles. This unwavering commitment to moral purity is what sets Cleanthes apart as a true Stoic idealist. And as you drift off to sleep tonight, let the idea of moral purity settle in your mind. Ponder how Cleanthes' teachings can guide us toward a life lived with integrity and honor. Good night. Through his own experiences, Cleanthes understood that adversity is not something to be avoided, but rather a pathway to growth and wisdom. He believed that enduring hardships with resilience could transform a person into someone of great strength and virtue. This philosophy became the core of Stoic teachings, providing a roadmap for navigating life's challenges. This approach humanizes the concept of facing hardships, reminding us that we are not powerless in the face of adversity. By taking control of our responses and actions, we can shape our own destinies. Cleanthes emphasized that every challenge offers an opportunity for growth. Instead of dwelling on the hardship itself, he advised his followers to learn from their experiences and use them as stepping stones towards personal development. By embracing this philosophy, Cleanthes provided a practical roadmap for navigating large challenges. His teachings on endurance, resilience, and the transformative power of adversity offer a timeless guide for those seeking wisdom and personal growth. As we delve deeper into his teachings, we come to understand that adversity is not an obstacle to be feared, but rather a pathway to self-discovery and growth. This realization offers a profound sense of peace and resilience. And so, we see that Cleanthes' philosophy is not just about surviving hardships, but thriving through them. His teachings provide a beacon of hope and guidance for anyone navigating life's challenges. In the quiet of the Athenian night, a man named Cleanthes would walk from his humble dwelling to the bustling agora. He wasn't heading there for trade or politics, but to listen, to learn, and ultimately, to teach others how to face life's greatest certainty, death. Cleanthes believed that death was not the end, but a transition, a natural part of life's cycle. His view on accepting death with equanimity was revolutionary in a time where fear and avoidance of the subject were common. He taught that just as seasons change, so do the phases of life. Each phase has its purpose and must be embraced fully before giving way to the next. Cleanthes' life reflected this philosophy. Despite facing hardships and challenges, he maintained an unshakable inner peace. He saw death not as an enemy to be feared, but as a natural progression of life's journey. In the tranquil moments of his nightly walks, Cleanthes would have found comfort in this belief. Oikeiosis, often translated as affection, was a cornerstone of Cleanthes' philosophy. This concept emphasized the natural affinity and affection that humans have for one another. It wasn't just about romantic love, but also the deep bonds of family, friendship, and community. Cleanthes believed that oikeiosis was the basis for all social relationships. He taught that as humans, we are naturally inclined to care for and be connected to others. This inherent affection is what drives us to form families, create lasting friendships, and contribute positively to our communities. His thoughts on marriage were equally profound. Cleanthes saw marriage not just as a legal or social contract, but as a sacred union between two individuals who share a deep bond of oikeiosis. He believed that the love and respect within a marriage could be a powerful force for personal growth and stability. Cleanthes valued friendships deeply, seeing them as vital to a well-lived life. He believed that true friends were those who shared in our oikeiosis and supported us on our journey towards virtue and wisdom. His own friendships, particularly with his pupil Chrysippus, reflected this ideal. Chrysippus, who became a prominent Stoic thinker himself, was a testament to Cleanthes' philosophy in action. Their friendship was built on mutual respect, shared values, and the deep affection that oikeiosis fosters. In the end, Cleanthes' philosophy offered a blueprint for how love and affection can be woven into the fabric of a Stoic life, creating bonds that are both deep and enduring. His legacy lives on in the lives transformed by his teachings, a testament to how love, when understood through oikeiosis, can be a powerful force for good in our world. Cleanthes believed that education was not merely about academic knowledge, but also about holistic development and wisdom. To him, education meant learning virtue and developing the moral qualities necessary to live a good life. His influence on future educators was profound, as they adopted his beliefs that wisdom and virtue were the cornerstones of true education. The practical application of his teachings highlighted the importance of personal development and self-improvement in leading a virtuous life. Despite the unrest, Cleanthes remained steadfast in his philosophical pursuits and teachings. He believed that during times of war and conflict, Stoics had a duty to maintain their composure and virtue. He taught that it was crucial for individuals to remain focused on what they could control, rather than being consumed by the chaos around them. Cleanthes saw war as an external event that should not disrupt one's inner peace and virtuous character. His philosophy emphasized the importance of living in accordance with nature and accepting circumstances beyond one's control. To illustrate his points, Cleanthes often referred to the calmness of a sage under duress as an ideal. He believed that true strength and resilience lie in maintaining one's inner tranquility amidst external tumult. And it is through this resilience that one can find true peace and strength in the face of conflict. Born in humble beginnings as a water carrier, he rose to become the head of one of the most influential philosophical schools. Cleanthes emphasized self-care and balance as essential components of a healthy life. For him, maintaining good health was not just about the physical body, but also the mind and spirit. He believed that a balanced life requires harmony between the mental and physical aspects of oneself. Cleanthes taught that controlling our impulses and emotions is crucial for achieving true health. By accepting what we cannot change, we can find contentment and peace of mind. His teachings on health and well-being continue to guide us towards a balanced and fulfilling life. Through the lens of Stoicism, we understand that true health is not merely physical, but also a state of mind and spirit. In the ancient world, social hierarchies were rigid and all-encompassing. He taught that true greatness is found in recognizing one's own limitations and acknowledging the strengths of others. Cleanthes emphasized the concept of Prohairesis, moral choice. He believed that virtue is not something inherently bestowed but a deliberate choice made by each individual. This shows how Stoicism can help one navigate complex social structures with virtue, demonstrating the practicality and enduring relevance of Cleanthes' philosophical insights. Cleanthes' teachings on adapting to change were revolutionary in their simplicity and power. He emphasized that life is a constant state of flux, with changes occurring at every moment. For him, the key to navigating this ceaseless flow was embracing the present moment fully. Cleanthes believed that dwelling on the past or fretting over the future only causes distress and prevents us from living well in the now. He taught that true wisdom lies in accepting what is beyond our control, the reality of change itself. This dedication earned him the respect of the court and ultimately led to his elevation within the Stoic school. Throughout his teachings and life, Cleanthes demonstrated how Stoicism can provide a framework for adaptability in the face of inevitable change. By embracing the present and accepting what cannot be controlled, we can navigate life's ever-changing landscape with grace and resilience. Cleanthes' dedication was so profound that the court of Athens grew suspicious of his activities. They summoned him to appear before them, questioning how someone could spend their days in such pursuits. This incident highlights a key aspect of Stoicism, the importance of mindfulness in daily activities. Cleanthes was not merely studying philosophy, he was living it. He taught that time should be used wisely by focusing on tasks that are within one's control and accepting those that are not. Cleanthes' philosophy on time management serves as a reminder that wisdom and virtue can guide us in making the most of our time. Cleanthes believed that the cornerstone of any well-ordered society is not wealth or power, but justice. For him, justice was not merely about punishing wrongdoers, but also about ensuring fairness and equity within the community. He taught that true virtue lies in recognizing one's place within a larger whole and acting accordingly. This principle of interdependence was central to his teachings on social order. Imagine a society where every individual understands their role and performs it with excellence. Cleanthes believed that such a society would thrive because each person contributes to the greater good. In his view, justice is not merely about individual actions, but also about the collective responsibility to maintain order and fairness. To illustrate this, Cleanthes often used examples from everyday life. For instance, he once noted that in a well-ordered household, each member knows their role and performs it diligently. He argued that just as the household thrives on such cooperation, so too does a society when its members act justly and in accordance with their roles. Cleanthes' teachings on justice are not abstract theories, but practical guidelines for living a virtuous life within a just society. But Cleanthes was not content with simply enduring his circumstances. He possessed an insatiable curiosity for knowledge and philosophy. Central to this guide was his concept of Oikeiosis, which can be roughly translated as affiliation or natural affection. For Cleanthes, Oikeiosis represented the innate human tendency to affiliate with others and to care for our own well-being. This concept would play a foundational role in his practical guide, influencing personal growth and acceptance by encouraging individuals to recognize their inherent connections with others and the world around them. By understanding our natural affiliations, we can cultivate a deeper sense of self-preservation and empathy, leading to more harmonious relationships and a richer inner life. Cleanthes' transformative insights would not only shape the lives of those who followed his teachings, but also lay the groundwork for future Stoic philosophers like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius. But his story doesn't end with menial labour, it's about his journey to Athens. He proved his dedication by working as a boxer during the day and studying philosophy at night. Cleanthes led the school for approximately 30 years, shaping it into a practical guide for daily life. He taught that the key to a virtuous life lies not in extremes but in balance and moderation. Cleanthes believed that true happiness comes from maintaining equilibrium in all aspects of life, whether it be wealth, pleasure, or even one's passions. For instance, while it is good to enjoy the pleasures of life, one should not become a slave to them. He stressed that virtue is found in the middle ground, neither indulging excessively nor denying oneself completely. He believed that true strength comes from maintaining control over one's desires and passions. In essence, Cleanthes taught that true power lies not in the ability to exert extreme control, but in the capacity to exercise restraint. For Cleanthes, the path to a fulfilling and virtuous life is not paved with extremes, but rather with careful moderation and balance. By incorporating these principles into their daily routines, followers of Stoicism can achieve a state of tranquility and inner peace. Cleanthes' teachings on moderation are not merely philosophical musings, but practical tools designed to guide individuals towards a balanced and fulfilling life. The practicality of his approach is evident in the enduring relevance of Stoicism today, a testament to Cleanthes' transformative vision. Imagine finding yourself in ancient Greece, around 263 BCE. A humble man from Assos named Cleanthes transforms the philosophical landscape of Athens by emphasizing virtue, control, and acceptance. This transformation shapes Stoicism into a practical guide for living through adversity. Before tonight is over, you will understand how his teachings on courage became integral to Stoic philosophy and how they continue to influence lives today. Your dedication has been called into question, and the court officers are scrutinizing you with skepticism. As they evaluate your commitment, Zeno steps forward, prepared to speak on your behalf. The court officers are impressed by Zeno's passionate defense. They recognize the value of your dedication and offer you money for your devotion to philosophy. But Zeno declines, insisting that true virtue cannot be bought with gold or silver. Your teachings highlight the importance of accepting what cannot be changed and focusing on what can be influenced. This approach to contentment transforms not only your own life, but also the lives of those who follow your guidance. Your influence extends beyond your own time, inspiring generations to find inner peace through the practice of Stoicism. Your story underscores that contentment is not found in external wealth or status, but in the acceptance of life's circumstances and the pursuit of personal virtue. In the end, your journey reveals a profound truth. True contentment is not determined by external factors, but by one's ability to accept what cannot be changed and focus on what can be influenced. This lesson continues to guide countless individuals in their pursuit of a more fulfilling life. Cleanthes, born in humble Assos around 330 BCE, lived a life of stark contrasts. He worked as a water carrier to support his philosophy studies, until one night the court summoned him to prove his dedication. In the cold light of dawn, they witnessed his tireless labour. This is the story of how Cleanthes transformed Stoic philosophy into a practical guide for living through his teachings on virtue, control, and acceptance. At the core of Cleanthes' teachings was an emphasis on rational thought. He believed that the key to controlling emotions lay not in suppressing them, but in understanding them through reason. This approach allowed individuals to gain insight into their emotional states and thereby better manage them. One practical technique Cleanthes advocated for cultivating rational thinking involved premeditation, or premeditatio. This practice entailed imagining potential future events and how one might react to them emotionally. By contemplating various scenarios ahead of time, individuals could prepare themselves with calm and reasoned responses when confronted with those situations. Imagine a world where people could anticipate their emotional reactions to challenging events before they even occurred. This was the vision Cleanthes held, a world where rational thought guided human behaviour and helped maintain calm in the face of adversity. Another important technique Cleanthes taught was called dichotomy, which involved distinguishing between things that are within one's control and those that are not. By clearly separating what can be influenced from what cannot, individuals could focus their efforts on the former and accept the latter with equanimity. Through these methods and more, Cleanthes shaped Stoic philosophy into a powerful tool for navigating life's challenges with wisdom and composure. His insights continue to influence modern thinkers and practitioners who seek to live in harmony with their emotions through the power of rational thought. This inner struggle was not one of ambition or wealth, but of something far more profound, the quest for unassailable inner strength through reason and virtue. He believed that true strength lay not in the flexing of muscles, but in the steadfastness of character and the unyielding will to do what is right. And so, in the quiet of his study, Cleanthes' inner battle would become the cornerstone of a philosophy that continues to inspire and guide us today. This was more than just philosophy. It was a blueprint for a life well lived, one built on the unshakable foundations of virtue and reason. And so, as we delve deeper into the teachings of Cleanthes, let us remember that his wisdom was not merely intellectual exercise but a roadmap to inner peace and strength. Cleanthes, the humble water carrier turned Stoic philosopher, introduced a radical idea: separate what is in our control from what is not. He taught that we should focus on internal events, our thoughts, actions, and reactions, rather than external ones. Cleanthes emphasized the importance of understanding this distinction, as it helps us navigate life's challenges more effectively. In the ancient world, a concept known as Sympatheia was believed to bind all things together in an intricate web of interconnectedness. This principle taught that everything in the universe is interlinked and influences one another. Cleanthes, a renowned Stoic philosopher, was known for his deep insights into this interconnected nature of existence. His teachings emphasized that our actions and decisions ripple outwards, affecting not only ourselves but everything around us. Cleanthes believed that understanding and accepting this interconnectedness was key to living a virtuous life. In daily life, this means acknowledging that our choices have far-reaching consequences and that we are not isolated entities. By embracing Sympatheia, we can strive for control over what is within our influence and accept the rest with equanimity. Cleanthes' philosophy teaches us that the smallest acts can have profound effects on our world and on ourselves. Understanding this interconnectedness leads to a more mindful and ethical way of living. Cleanthes also emphasized acceptance, recognizing that many things are beyond our control. Rather than railing against the inevitable, he believed in cultivating a calm and steadfast spirit, accepting what cannot be changed and focusing on what can be influenced. His dedication did not go unnoticed. One fateful night, Cleanthes was summoned to court, accused of neglecting his duties in favor of philosophical pursuits. The judges were intrigued by this unusual water carrier who dared to dream of something greater. Cleanthes taught that personal growth and self-improvement come from the daily practice of virtue, acts of kindness, wisdom, and courage. He believed that by striving for arete in our everyday actions, we can transform not just ourselves, but also the world around us. His teachings echo through the ages, reminding us that excellence is not a lofty ideal, but a tangible pursuit within our grasp. As you drift off to sleep tonight, consider how Cleanthes' journey from humble water carrier to philosopher king transformed the very essence of Stoic philosophy. Imagine, for a moment, carrying that spirit of Arete into your own life. What virtues will you strive to embody today? What small acts of kindness can become the cornerstone of your pursuit of excellence? As we journey through this night, let the story of Cleanthes serve as a reminder that true greatness lies not in grand gestures, but in the quiet practice of virtue. And so, with this thought in mind, allow yourself to settle into sleep, knowing that the pursuit of arete is within your reach. Zeno was so impressed by Cleanthes' commitment that when the young philosopher was summoned to court for his unconventional lifestyle, Zeno intervened and refused any payment on his behalf. Under Zeno's guidance, Cleanthes began to develop a unique approach to Stoic philosophy. He believed that reason and logic were the keys to navigating life's challenges. His teachings emphasized the importance of using rational thought to guide decisions and actions. Cleanthes taught that by applying logical reasoning to any situation, one could discern the best course of action. This focus on rational thought was revolutionary in a time when philosophical debates often relied more on intuition or tradition. Cleanthes also believed in the interconnectedness of all things, an idea he illustrated through his famous hymn to Zeus. In this work, he argues that reason is what allows us to perceive and understand these connections. Under Cleanthes' leadership, the Stoic philosophy flourished and spread throughout Greece and Rome. His practical approach to philosophy made it accessible and applicable to everyday life. Cleanthes' focus on reason continues to influence modern thought and practice. Today, many people turn to Stoicism for guidance in navigating life's complexities with wisdom and calm. His teachings on using reason to guide decisions and actions are as relevant today as they were centuries ago. Cleanthes' legacy lives on through the many who have found solace and guidance in his philosophy. As you drift off to sleep tonight, consider the power of reason, the tool that Cleanthes believed could guide us through life's most challenging moments. In the calm and quiet of your thoughts, appreciate the wisdom that Cleanthes brought to the world and how it can continue to shape your own life. Cleanthes taught that our choices define who we are and shape the lives we lead. He believed in taking responsibility for every action, no matter how small or insignificant it might seem. This emphasis on personal accountability was revolutionary, as it placed the power of change squarely in the hands of the individual. He believed that by making conscious, virtuous choices, we could align ourselves with the natural order of the universe and live a life filled with purpose and meaning. This idea would come to be foundational to Stoic practice, guiding generations of philosophers in their pursuit of wisdom and virtue. As we delve deeper into Stoic philosophy, it becomes clear that Cleanthes' ideas are not mere abstractions but a powerful framework for living a life of virtue and control. Through his commitment to conscious choice, Cleanthes paved the way for a philosophy that continues to inspire and guide us today. Imagine a world where you can control your emotions so effortlessly that no external event or internal thought could disrupt your inner peace. This is the state of Apatheia, the ultimate goal of Stoic philosophy, as taught by Cleanthes. His endurance was further tested when he moved to Athens, a city known for its intellectual prowess. There, Cleanthes initially found himself on the margins, working menial jobs. In the heart of Athens, where philosophers gathered to debate and learn, Cleanthes emphasized that true wisdom comes not from wealth or status, but from constant self-awareness and a deep understanding of one's own limitations. For him, philosophy was not just an academic pursuit, but a way of life. A life dedicated to continuous learning and introspection. Cleanthes believed that self-awareness is the first step towards true wisdom and control over one's life. He taught that the more we understand about ourselves, the better equipped we are to navigate life's challenges and uncertainties. And this pursuit of wisdom and self-knowledge wasn't just reserved for the elite few who could devote their lives to philosophy. Cleanthes believed that wisdom was accessible to all who were willing to put in the effort and dedicate themselves to learning. Imagine a world where virtues are the cornerstone of society, a place governed by principles such as wisdom, justice, and courage. This was Cleanthes' vision for an ideal society, grounded in his belief in natural law. He believed that there were universal moral truths embedded within the very fabric of existence. For Cleanthes, justice was not merely an abstract concept, but a tangible reality that underpinned societal harmony. He saw it as the fundamental virtue necessary to maintain order in any community. In his view, justice served as the glue that bound people together, ensuring that everyone lived in accordance with natural law. But how did this ideal society come into being? Cleanthes believed in the concept of a social contract, an agreement among individuals to live by certain rules and principles for the common good. He saw these contracts as essential for building just and fair communities. In his teachings, Cleanthes emphasized that virtues played a crucial role in maintaining these social contracts. Wisdom guided individuals to make the right decisions, courage helped them stand up for what was right, and justice ensured fair treatment of all members within society. Take a moment to consider how these principles might apply to our modern world. How would a society function if its members truly embodied wisdom, justice, and courage? It's fascinating to ponder the transformative potential of Cleanthes' ideas. Cleanthes' teachings on justice and fairness offer a blueprint for creating a more harmonious world. His belief in natural law, social contracts, and the power of virtues holds a timeless relevance that continues to inspire us today. As you drift off tonight, take a moment to reflect on the wisdom of Cleanthes and how his ideas can guide us towards a more just and fair society. Imagine a man who began his life with nothing, yet ended up reshaping an entire school of philosophy into a practical guide for personal growth. His name was Cleanthes, and the techniques he used to foster his own development would transform the lives of countless others. But before we delve into those methods, let's uncover how this humble water carrier rose to become one of the most influential figures in Stoic history. Cleanthes was born around 3030 BCE in Assos, a small city in ancient Asia Minor. His early life reflected the core principles of Stoicism: endurance, self-discipline, and resilience in the face of adversity. From humble beginnings, Cleanthes proved his worth through tireless effort, working menial jobs like carrying water at night to support his philosophical studies. His dedication was so profound that he caught the attention of Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism. When Cleanthes was summoned to court for spending his days studying philosophy instead of working, Zeno defended him, proving his industry by demonstrating his hard work at night. Impressed with Cleanthes' diligence, the court offered him money, but Zeno declined on his behalf. After Zeno's death in 263 BCE, Cleanthes became the second head of the Stoic school, succeeding Zeno as the Scholarch. For approximately 30 years, until around 232 or 230 BCE, Cleanthes led the Stoic school in Athens, transforming it into a practical guide for living. Cleanthes' methods for personal development included techniques like negative visualization, premeditatio malorum, and self-reflection. These practices were designed to help individuals prepare for adversity and maintain inner peace. By cultivating resilience and self-control, Cleanthes believed one could navigate the challenges of life with grace and fortitude. Perhaps the most intriguing aspect of Cleanthes' philosophy was his emphasis on virtue, control, and acceptance. He taught that by adhering to these principles, individuals could shape their own character and live in accordance with nature. His teachings have stood the test of time, continuing to influence modern-day philosophers and thinkers. Tonight, we'll explore how Cleanthes used these practices not only to better himself, but also to transform the lives of those who followed his guidance. As we delve deeper into his story, you'll discover how Stoic philosophy can serve as a practical guide for your own personal growth and development. By the end of this journey, you will understand how the seemingly mundane life of Cleanthes holds secrets to a life well lived. Stay with us to uncover these timeless insights and perhaps find a new perspective on your own path to personal growth. The ideas that Zeno and Cleanthes had developed in Athens were transmitted westward, carried by merchants, soldiers, and scholars who travelled the vast networks of trade routes and roads connecting the Mediterranean world. Seneca, a Roman statesman and philosopher, was deeply influenced by the writings of Cleanthes. He drew on Stoic principles to navigate his turbulent political career and personal life, becoming one of the most prominent advocates for Stoicism in Rome. Marcus Aurelius, who would become Emperor of Rome, was also a devoted student of Stoicism. He famously penned Meditations, a personal journal exploring the philosophical tenets he had learned from Cleanthes and other Stoic thinkers. Cleanthes' impact extended beyond his lifetime, shaping the Stoic movement in Rome and contributing to its enduring legacy across different cultures and time periods. His teachings continue to resonate today, offering timeless wisdom for navigating life's challenges. Wisdom, according to Cleanthes, was the ability to discern right from wrong and to live in accordance with nature. It involved understanding the natural order of things and aligning one's actions with this cosmic harmony. Justice, another cornerstone of Stoic ethics, was about treating all people fairly and equitably. Cleanthes believed that true justice required seeing each individual as part of a larger whole, understanding their role in the grand scheme of things. Courage was not merely about facing physical dangers, but also about standing up for what is right, even when it is difficult or unpopular. For Cleanthes, courage meant enduring hardships and setbacks with resilience and dignity. Finally, self-discipline was the foundation upon which the other virtues rested. It involved controlling one's desires and impulses, practicing moderation in all aspects of life. Cleanthes taught that mastery over oneself was a prerequisite for true wisdom, justice, and courage. These virtues were not isolated concepts, but intricately connected in the web of life. Wisdom guided one's actions towards justice, while courage fortified one's resolve to do what is right. Self-discipline maintained the balance and harmony among these virtues. Cleanthes practiced what he preached, embodying these virtues in his own life. His humble beginnings and resilience demonstrated his commitment to self-discipline. His dedication to philosophy, despite the odds, showed his courage. And his teachings on how to live wisely and justly reflected his deep wisdom. As we move forward, consider how these ancient principles can guide our own journey towards a more virtuous life. Cleanthes' teachings on virtue offer us a timeless roadmap for navigating the challenges and complexities of modern existence. By embracing these virtues, we can strive to live in accordance with nature, treat others fairly, face adversity with courage, and maintain self-control. In doing so, we honor the legacy of Cleanthes and contribute to a more just and wise world. At the heart of Cleanthes' philosophical teachings was a concept called Oikeiosis. This idea holds that humans are naturally inclined towards self-preservation and maintaining social bonds. He believed that this innate affinity begins with the self and expands to include family, friends, and eventually all of humanity. This concept was central to his views on ethics and social relations. Through Oikeiosis, Cleanthes taught that humans have a natural tendency to care for themselves first and then extend this care outward, creating a web of interconnectedness. By understanding Oikeiosis, one can begin to grasp the importance of personal growth and societal bonds in Stoic ethics. But what set Cleanthes apart was his deep understanding of the nature of emotions, a subject that has fascinated philosophers for centuries. In Stoic philosophy, emotions are not something to be suppressed or ignored. Instead, they are categorized into primary and secondary types. Primary emotions are those that arise naturally from our immediate perception of events, like joy at a friend's good fortune or grief at their loss. Secondary emotions, on the other hand, are those that arise from our own judgments and interpretations of events. For example, if someone steals your wallet, the primary emotion might be anger at the theft. But if you start to think about how unfair this is, or how it reflects on the thief's character, your anger can turn into resentment, a secondary emotion. Cleanthes taught that primary emotions are generally appropriate and in tune with nature, while secondary emotions often lead to suffering and are best avoided. He also introduced the concept of Apatheia, a state of tranquility that comes from understanding and accepting our emotions rather than trying to suppress them. Through his analysis of the nature of emotions, Cleanthes provided practical guidance for living in harmony with oneself and with nature.